everyone, I'm Donna Louise, and for the love of puzzles, I'm going to do my first Mordillo. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. The artist, who was a cartoonist, was named Guillermo Mordillo, and this particular cartoon is called The Cure. Clementoni released it as a 1,000-piece puzzle. The reason why I chose to do it, I thought it would be a bit of a challenge. There's a lot of muted colors, a lot of whites and beiges and light browns and light blues juxtaposed next to that big, bright, beautiful, colorful area. So I thought it would be maybe a bit tricky. There's one thing though that since I've thought about is how well is this going to film and translate on camera so I can show you all the build. I'm worried that it might be a little muted, that I might not be able to use all the footage, but we'll see. I'll do the best I can. So for the love of puzzles, let's get to building. I pulled out my green felt because there's so much white and off-white and beige and darker browns. I thought I needed a different background than my white board. So we're gonna go green for this puzzle. Now, I did the sorting in about 25 minutes, which was longer than I expected, and I'll explain in a minute. Here are all the border pieces. Here are pieces that are sky with I believe like cloud. Here are all the colorful pieces from the vegetation, as well as the outline of like the stacks and this area down here. Sorry, that's probably hard to see with the light and it's white. I may have to do some adjusting while filming so you can actually see on camera better. And then all these pieces here are all like the shades of blue, white, gray, beige, brown. That's a lot. I'll definitely have to do some sub-sorting, but what's nice about these pieces is when you pull them out and look at them, you can see the shade gradient in them, and you know, they're not all identical, but it'll be a bit of a challenge to eventually find where they go. Obviously, it looks like these are most likely over here in this part of the stack, for example. These probably sky. Some with gray could be more in the clouds, or the smoke clouds, I should say. But yeah, quite a few there. And surprisingly, there's quite a few of the vegetation pieces. I didn't think there'd be so many. So I'm pleased about that. That'll be nice to do. Now, what I want to talk about, and disclaimer here, I've always really enjoyed Clementoni puzzles. Never had a complaint or an issue. So I'm thinking this is a one-off. Not everything is perfect all the time, and that's fine. So you know how you go and you get puzzles and pieces are stuck together and you pry them apart. Normally I find 2, maybe 3 in a puzzle. I actually found so many in this puzzle that were stuck together, and eventually, if this doesn't come across on camera, when I tried to pry them apart, they started ripping and breaking. And to the point where I have several pieces here, I've left them connected, and I have not tried to pry them apart because they're all gonna rip and tear. Again, if this isn't coming across on camera, I'll insert images instead. So these are just some of the pieces I left intact. I probably had to separate another 30 pieces, no joke, that were still connected to one another. So I think, unfortunately, I don't know if it was this run or this particular puzzle, it just wasn't cut properly. This is not what I expect from Clementoni, so I think it's just an unfortunate one-off. Not everything is perfect all the time, and I'm fine with that. There was this one piece, I don't even know what happened. Again, if you can't make that out on camera, I will post an image. It is mangled. It is all bent. It is all frayed. It almost looks a bit like water damage. So I'm going to try to fix this, put a heavy weight on it, maybe use some glue. I don't even know what happened to this poor piece, but it's only one piece that's that bad. So yeah, I got tired after a while separating the pieces, and I just left these as is because I didn't want to rip them. I was starting to rip a lot of pieces, and so okay, maybe you see now that one's all frayed there, but not terrible. The other thing was, Oh, the puzzle dust. I'm glad I left it in the bag. Can you make that all out? Imagine that all over the place. That would be unpleasant, that's for sure. So managed to keep all of that in the bag. There was some in the box, already dumped that out. But yeah, this I believe is not typical of Clementoni. I just want to say that. I still love their puzzles. I'll still do plenty more. And it's the kind of thing that I don't think it's so dreadful that I need to contact them. I'm not going to complain to them. Should I get a puzzle that had problems though, I would reach out to any manufacturer and I'm sure they would be more than happy to either refund or send a different puzzle. This wasn't overly devastating, but definitely not typical of what I expect from them. And I think this was just a bad cut. So a lot of these pieces I did separate, and I hope when I come to assemble them, I don't have issues with fit. Yeah, I did pry probably 30 pairs of pieces I pried apart, and I thought that was significant. So there you go. I probably spent an extra 5 to 10 minutes on the sorting because of that, but that's fine. My plan is to do the border, then play around with the colorful part because that'll be the most fun, and eventually slug through the lighter colors. But I still think this will be a lovely puzzle, probably the puzzle with the most white that I've ever done. Yeah, so for the love of puzzles, let's get to building. Post-processing Donna Louise here, and as I feared and suspected, it was very difficult to get the image across on camera because the colors are so muted and the lines of the drawing are so soft. I had a very difficult time, and I ended up chopping the video up to just do some kind of screenshots. I did do some close-ups of puzzle piece insertions, and those look pretty good. I'm pleased with those, but overall I am not happy with this video. I even debated whether or not I should post it, but I spent so many hours doing the puzzle and so much time trying to edit the film. I played with, you know, the contrast, the brightness, and all the different settings. And of course it also depends on the screen on which you're viewing the video. That may alter how it appears to you. So overall, I'm sorry. I apologize for the quality of the video. I did the best I could. It's kind of fitting with this puzzle. The puzzle was a bit of a mess. The video is a bit of a mess. But I've learned two things. One, puzzles that are in portrait view are much more difficult to get a full shot of because I have to raise my camera up so high. I only have one camera. I do bring it in to do some close-ups as well, but it's just a bit trickier and more difficult. And in fact, I didn't even notice that I had one of my light diffusers in the shot, and the tool that I used to crop wouldn't let me crop it out without chopping down the puzzle as well. So, well, maybe the next time I do a portrait puzzle, I gotta turn it sideways and do it landscape. I know people don't like videos filmed in portrait mode, but I might try and see how it goes. The second lesson I learned is puzzles with muted, lighter colors are more difficult to bring across on camera. I'm just, you know, not an expert at post-processing film, so two things to consider. Of course, one of the next puzzles I have lined up to do is a portrait one with a lot of white on it. So we'll see how that goes. I just want to say I did enjoy the image, just maybe not the best puzzle to film. So I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit disappointed in the cut of the puzzle. I won't go over it all again. I just want to say that I don't think it's standard Clementoni quality. It's just a one-off fluke, and we'll leave it at that. I still love the brand very much and plan to do many more of their puzzles. So let me know, have you done a Mordillo puzzle? Are you familiar with this cartoonist and his work? Leave your comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. For the love of puzzles, I hope you enjoy my videos. Please consider subscribing, and until next time, ciao!